To bring in tonight's Out in the Open panel, Michael Gross is a lawyer who deals in constitutional rights. Joe Madison is a talk show host at Washington's WOL Radio, and Miguel Perez, who is a syndicated columnist. Great to have all of you with us tonight. You just heard Jeffrey Toobin say, if you look at this move cynically on District Attorney Nifong's part, you could read into it. This guy was in a hotly contested battle for DA against a black candidate, wanted to court the black vote, and wanted to appear as though he was coming down pretty hard on a bunch of privileged white guys. Did you read it that way?
No, not initially.
Do you read it that way now?
Well, I don't know. I think the special prosecutor is probably the best way to go. It will be a set of fresh eyes. There's no question about this. What has happened, of course, is that you had a group of white guys that decided that they were going to have their jollies with probably a fantasy type sex situation. You know, the bottom line is something happened there. But one of the things I've learned— They certainly rule out
the possibility of rape.
Yeah, and one of the things that I've learned is that, you know, this is such a, because of race, we have to be very careful, and you always have to wait till all the facts are in. I think what people do is that they rush. They rush to judgment. They rush to an opinion. And I've learned down through the years, the hard way, let's take our time, get all the facts in, and then
And I just misspoke. When I was referring to you and I said rule out the possibility of rape, that isn't, when they dropped the charges, that isn't what they meant. But they certainly didn't have evidence to support the
But I'm not
rape
crying
charges.
tears over these guys.
Very narrow charges have been dropped. I certainly agree that there's been a rush to judgment.
Do you think race played a critical role in this case?
I think that a bunch of guys hired somebody to do other than read poetry or give them a dance lesson. They hired a known prostitute for sex. Now, we haven't heard from any of them as to what they did. We've only heard, I didn't do it, it wasn't me, I didn't rape her. Now, we got one victim who's all alone, who's got a lousy reputation,
and
which
whose story has changed.
Whose story has changed, like Abner Louima's story changed. These conditions are not so easy to understand. I don't say they're guilty. I say, let the evidence be presented. You know, when you do something, as this DA did last April, he knew that he didn't have DNA of any of the lacrosse players from her specimen. Well, he should have announced that. He should have made that clear then. And holding that back.
Now we know that one of the people critically involved in gathering information is saying that was left out of one of the reports.
He sort of whitewashed this thing. I mean, did you hear? I mean, he went, some guys hired some girl. No, look, let's be honest. These white guys hired a black woman. You're going to tell me that out in Duke you couldn't have found a white stripper, a white prostitute? They were there. Race was a factor.
How big of a factor in your judgment?
It was a factor, and it was even a bigger factor because the media made it a bigger factor. I think if it had been a white woman raped by a bunch of white guys, we wouldn't have made such a big deal of it. So it was the media's hand also making tremendous...
Oh, give me a break. That still would have been a huge story.
That's the point. That's the point.
Whether it had been a white woman who was raped or a black woman.
So why is this a racial issue then? It's not, you know, why are we making it a racial issue? If it had been a white woman raped by a bunch of famous or so-called famous players, lacrosse players, it would have been a serious, the charges were very serious to begin with.
But you don't deny the fact that it is a factor, maybe perhaps in the speed at which Mr. Nifong approached this case?
If it was politically motivated, as it appears to be now, and pretty stupid to begin with, because, you know, how could he take such a weak case, or a case that really wasn't all together, and try to make political hay out of it?
All right, very quickly, because I got to move on to some breaking news now.
It wasn't all that fast. You have a victim in a rape case, you submit her to the grand jury indicted. That's not all that fast. What's really been slow is how we got, why didn't the case go to trial?
All right, Michael, Joe, and Miguel, we're going to be back to you in a little bit. We got to move on to some breaking news right now. Let's go back to that story out of Missouri. We have just gotten in pictures of the suspect in the kidnapping of the two boys in Missouri. Michael Devlin has been charged with first-degree kidnapping. Officials found the boys at his apartment this afternoon. One of the boys had disappeared on Monday. The other has been missing since 2002. We are told that the law enforcement happened to be in the apartment complex where Mr. Devlin was arrested, actually investigating something else when they spotted a vehicle he was believed to have been driving the day that second little boy went missing. We also are understanding that a neighbor of Mr. Devlin reported to the local press that she always believed that the young boy who was kidnapped in 2002 happened to be the son of Mr. Devlin. How he ever blended in that apartment complex with local kids is a mystery to all of us tonight. Investigators really not giving us too many details at this hour, but when they do come in, we'll bring them to you live. Now, this week we have brought out in the open the story of the disabled girl they call the Pillow Angel. Her parents surgically stunted her growth to make it easier to care for her, and they say to make her more comfortable. When we come back, we're going to meet another family with a severely disabled child who made a completely different choice. Let's see what they have to say about Ashley's parents. And then a little bit later on, we're going to take you to a small northern town where the black mayor says he's never worried about intolerance, but now he's getting death threats. Why? We'll examine that when we come back.
To wipe out a big cold, immerse yourself in total cold relief with Alka-Seltzer Plus. It speeds relief to every inch of you. Liquidate your big cold with Alka-Seltzer Plus.
My dad's great, but I just wish he could be around more. He's always having to go back to the office for something. Even my birthday last week. Right in the middle of the party, he had to go back to the office. Or the time we were playing catch in the backyard. It was a real Field of Dreams kind of moment. So last night, Mom and I decided to take matters into our own hands. In less than 2 minutes, we signed out for a free trial of Go to My PC. With Go to My PC, Dad can access his office PC right here from home. He can use all his programs, work on his files, check email. Anything he can do in his office PC, he can do from anywhere. But since today's Saturday, and he's got a bunch of chores lined up for me.
Hey, Kevin, why don't you come help me wash the car?
I figured I'd wait for tomorrow to show him. You can try Go to My PC free, too. Visit gotomypc.com/TV.
Tonight on Anderson Cooper 360, Lance Armstrong's War, the 360 interview. Why isn't there more money for cancer research? Plus, Oprah Winfrey and her crusade to save Africa. CNN Tonight, 10 Eastern. Larry King tomorrow, Winona and Gary Sinise at the Homes Away from Home for Wounded Troops.
When I get goosebumps.
Larry King, tomorrow 9 Eastern only on CNN.
A musical trilogy, 30 years in the making. Rock's most epic adventure continues. Bat Out of Hell 3 Seize the Night Tour. Now a second show added April 13th at the theater at Madison Square Garden. Meatloaf, the best of Bat Out of Hell for the first time in 14 years. The critics have spoken. Tickets go on sale this Saturday at noon. Charge by phone or get tickets at Ticketmaster.com. Produced by The Bowery Presents.
Sunday. They are on the same journey, sharing the same space. In the womb, multiples. Before they are born, they connect. Touching, fighting, playing. Their first moments seen for the first time. Twins, triplets, even quads. In the womb, multiples. Premieres Sunday at 8 Eastern, 9 Pacific on Channel 162, the National Geographic Channel.
Don't wait an hour for morning news. 6 a.m. CNN American Morning, Monday.
You may not realize it, but there's a source of renewable energy right in your neighborhood, and you're helping to power it. Today, Waste Management is using the resources at our disposal to create energy from waste. Enough green energy to power over 1 million homes. From everyday collection to environmental protection, think green, think Waste Management.
We have more to tell you tonight about a growing controversy we've been following all week long. A fascinating story, the story of Ashley, the severely disabled girl whose parents call her their pillow angel. Since we brought her story out in the open, we have heard from so many other parents of disabled children. Some empathize with the decision to sterilize Ashley and stunt her growth to make her easier to care for, and her parents to say that makes her more comfortable, while others can't imagine ever making such a drastic choice for their child. In tonight's Vital Signs, medical correspondent Elizabeth Cohen brings us the story of two parents who are allowing their son to grow up despite his disability.
All right, let's go.
Matthew Hood has a lot in common with Ashley, the girl whose parents intentionally stunted her growth. Both are severely disabled. They can't walk, talk, or even sit up by themselves. But while Matt and his parents have carved out a quiet life for themselves here in Illinois, Ashley and her parents have become the center of protests and angry blogs. Matt's mom, Sue, is one of the people who's most furious that Ashley's parents arranged for drugs and surgery to keep their daughter forever small. So, the very first time you heard that they limited her final height by giving her drugs,
I was shocked. I was totally shocked. I was not only shocked, I was flabbergasted.
Or as another parent blogged, I am truly just sick to my stomach to imagine that it's acceptable medical practice in any case to surgically stunt a child's growth. Sue, this would be a lot easier if you were smaller, right?
It would be easier, but I just don't think it's the right thing to do.
The Ashley controversy centers on this. If someone's brain is like a baby's, is it okay to make her body stay small too? Ashley's parents say for their daughter, yes. They want to be able to carry Ashley for the rest of her life so they can more easily cuddle her and include her in on family activities. She's 9 now, and they write, "We are currently near the limits of our ability to lift Ashley at 65 pounds. Matt weighs more than twice that. So Matt is 5'9", 150 pounds. That's
Correct.
bigger than Ashley would have been full grown.
Right?
And you lift him.
I lift him. Okay, good job.
Sue Hood says of course it's tough lifting her 15-year-old son, turning him,
that.
changing his diaper.
And say once you have an idea on how to work with these kids and how to dress them, it's really not such a big deal.
Can you understand why they did what they did?
No. I can't understand for a minute why they did what they did. I still think it's appalling. I can't understand why anyone would choose that for their child.
Matt's parents say it's easy to cuddle with him. They want him to go through puberty, just like everybody else.
So we don't need to lift you like a baby to get a hug. No. I put him in the tilt wheelchair every Saturday and I shave his face for him, and I put on some aftershave on him. We talk about being a man and how, he's like his dad and isn't that a great thing to be a man. They get that.
Ashley's parents say a child-sized body without breasts is fitting and dignified for their daughter. They've inspired others. One mother asked doctors to do something similar to her disabled daughter, but was told no. In an email to Ashley's parents, that mother wrote, "Your experience has given me the strength to revisit the situation with the doctors." Ashley and Matt both spend their days in wheelchairs, lying in bed listening to music. She loves opera. He prefers country music.
All right, good job. You did it.
But their parents have very different definitions of dignity, have made very different choices for their children who cannot make those choices on their own. Elizabeth Cohen, CNN, Woodridge, Illinois.
No one, of course, knows the challenge of caring for a disabled child better than the parents themselves. And you're about to meet a man who has some very strong feelings about that. Benny Waddell is the father of 7-year-old Ben. He strongly supports the decision of Ashley's parents. He's even been in touch with them to offer his encouragement. And Benny very much wanted us to meet Ben. So they both join us tonight from Greenville, South Carolina. Delighted to have both of you join us tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Paula.
So, Benny, among other things, you have heard Ashley's parents and the ethicists and doctors that made the decision described as child abusers, mutilators, evil, playing God. What is your response to that criticism?
I'm appalled. to be honest with you. When I first heard those terms, it really angered me to the core of all I am. The accusations that the parents are lazy, that they don't care for their child, that they're abusing their child. Having lived a similar journey, I think it is just a ridiculous, they're just ridiculous accusations.
I know you feel very badly for Ashley's parents, but the disabled community seems very, very activated by this case. You saw close to a couple dozen people protest outside the American Medical Association offices. What did you make of their outrage that day and what they want?
It's bothered me a great deal. I think they wanted the American Medical Association to condemn the doctors for what they did. And it is just absolutely ridiculous for somebody in the disability community to go against so strongly one of our own. I consider Ashley's family to be part of my family, part of my extended family. And that's how most of us feel that are raising these kids that have severe disabilities.
And I know in your own blog, you have gone as far as calling some of these critics disability rights Nazis, imbeciles, jerks, uneducated idiots. They do have a right to express their opinion, though, don't they?
No doubt, but the way they're expressing their opinion, I think, is in a dirty, low-down form. And if they want to make accusations, in a sense, toward my family, toward Ashley's family, for making decisions for our children that we think are in the best interest, well, I'm going to get down and dirty with them just as well.
And I know Benny, your son's disability is not all that similar to what Ashley confronted, but could you imagine ever having to face the choice that Ashley's parents have?
Well, we have faced a lot of choices like they have. Not as drastic, not as intrusive, but every day that Ben lives, every day that he has lived, we have faced choices that, as one of your quotes earlier from Ms. Cohen's piece, that we're playing God. Well, we do play God. It's an unfortunate side of this life that, do you do things like give Ben a trach? Do you give him a feeding tube? Do you buy him a pair of glasses? All of these things are choices. And very early on, we had a situation where we were offered the ability to give Ben hormone treatments to increase his size, because part of his syndrome is that he will be much smaller than the average size child.
And that is something that you opted not to do after a great deal of thought. I know all of these choices are very, very personal, and we really appreciate your sharing your story with us tonight. And,
well, thank you.
And I would say Ben is a very lucky guy to have you as his father.
I'm lucky to have Ben.
Yeah, I bet you are. Thanks again for joining us tonight. Coming up next, a shocking story of hate directed at the first black mayor of a small town in New Jersey. Even he said they've never had race problems before, so what's behind it? And then a little bit later on, we're going to take you to a neighborhood that is changing drastically, bringing intolerance between blacks and Latinos right out into the open.
Vital Signs is sponsored by Vytorin. For more information, talk to your doctor or visit Vytorin.com. Log on to cnn.com/Paula Zahn for more on the latest health technology.
Cholesterol. It can come from bow tie pasta, but also from your grandfather Bo. From that pie, creamy banana. And your mom, Juliana. A healthy diet is important. When that's not enough, adding Vytorin can help. Cholesterol comes from two sources, food and family. Vytorin treats two sources. Only Vytorin helps block the absorption of cholesterol from food and reduces the cholesterol your body makes naturally. Vytorin was also proven in clinical studies to lower bad cholesterol more than Lipitor alone, more than Crestor alone. Vytorin is not for everyone, including people with liver problems, women who are nursing, pregnant, or may become pregnant. Tell your doctor right away about unexplained muscle pain or weakness, which may be a sign of a rare but serious side effect. Certain medicines or foods may increase your risk of getting this serious side effect. Simple blood tests are needed to check for liver problems. So eat right, stay active, but if that's not enough, ask your doctor about adding Vytorin, 2 sources of cholesterol. Treat them both with Vytorin.
What I love about her?
What I love about him.
How much time do we have?
I love Thomas because he's just...
I love everything about Sharon. Everything.
Everything. I love him as he is.
Find everything you're looking for on eharmony.com. Log on today.
Water makes lots of things better. Philips Stool Softener does too. It helps your system absorb water where it needs to be. You feel like new again, 'cause you're going comfortably. Life's the way it should be with Philips Stool Softener.
Stop wasting my time. When you're a business owner, you don't just know the cost of doing business, you feel it. That's why Open created a smart new card that can help bring your costs down. Introducing the American Express Simply Cash Business Card, the only card that gives you unlimited cash back each month. Call 1-800-NOW-OPEN to apply. Simply Cash makes any gas purchase feel better, 5% better. Plus, it gives you 5% off wireless phone service and office supplies. It also gives you 1% back on virtually everything else. And it's easy. Your cash back appears each month on your statement automatically, with no limit to how much cash back you can earn.
So call now for the fee-free Simply Cash business card. It's the only card that makes it this easy to put unlimited cash back into your business each month.
We know what you want. That's why we're Open. How American Express serves small business.
Just like your colds, your child's cold can come with plus aches and pains, so they can have coughs plus an achy body, a stuffy nose plus a throbbing head. But not every children's medicine treats all these symptoms. Children's Tylenol Plus Cold does. It combines effective cold medicines with the doctor-recommended pain relief of Children's Tylenol to help you both feel better. Stop. Think. Children's Tylenol Plus Cold.
Slash tires, racist phone calls, a death threat. We're bringing out in the open tonight a disturbing series of hateful acts against a small town mayor in New Jersey. He's the first black mayor of South Harrison, a town so small it doesn't even have a traffic light. But the racism is more than just disturbing. It's mysterious because everyone, even the mayor, says the town, which is nearly all white, has never had any racial problems before. Alan Chernoff has been looking into this and filed this report.
South Harrison, New Jersey's new mayor, Charles Tyson, has spent all of his 64 years in this small rural town of 2,700 people that's almost exclusively white. Tyson says the community has always been friendly until December 14th, when he walked out of this restaurant to find a tire on his Jeep slashed.
Right in here, right along the sidewall, cut about 6 inches, and looked like they just stuck it in and just ripped it.
Next day, Tyson says he got a threatening, racist phone call. The caller said, "We're watching you," and then called Tyson the N-word.
"We're watching you," and they said that about 3 times. "We're watching you," and he used N-word again. And "We're watching you."
It's got to be pretty scary.
Very scary. Very scary.
The racist calls continued, Tyson says, almost every day for the next 2 weeks, at the number for his landscaping business and on his cell phone. Tyson won't provide his recordings, citing the police investigation. On January 1st, Tyson was sworn in as South Harrison's new volunteer mayor. Then, last Friday, Tyson says he got a death threat. The caller saying that the mayor was dead and again calling him the N-word. This has been especially shocking to Tyson because in the 50s, a time of racial turmoil in this country, when he was one of only 2 African Americans in his class at South Harrison Elementary, he says he was actually sheltered from such tensions.
Did you ever have any racial problems, growing up?
Never.
Nothing at all?
Nothing at all. Nothing at all.
South Harrison residents Wednesday night insisted their community remains an island of tolerance, expressing their outrage at a community meeting.
Racism is alive and well, but South Harrison residents are not going to put up with this. We don't live like this.
Mayor Tyson says he's pretty sure who's behind the threats.
The voice was
Yes.
very familiar to you.
Yes, very familiar.
Information he's shared with local police and the county prosecutor, who are busy building a case.
It's unfortunate. I mean, we have taken this very, very serious.
Tyson finds the experience especially sad when driving past the police car now parked in his driveway every day.
They don't want me to be the mayor, especially African-American mayor. It's really amazing. I mean, I lived here before. I'd say 90% of the people that live here now.
But if racism can emerge in his idyllic town, Charles Tyson says it can ravage any place in the country, no matter how harmonious it may appear on the surface. Alan Chernoff, CNN, South Harrison Township, New Jersey.
Mayor Taylor is serving a one-year term, and he says there's nothing that would prevent him from serving that term out. Another story we're bringing out into the open tonight, a national trend that is affecting many historically black neighborhoods. We're going to see the trend in the changing face of South Central Los Angeles.
Hello, I'm Lindsay Wagner. You know, if you're frustrated by the quality of your sleep or because you have morning back pain, please give us a call right now. It won't cost you a thing except a minute of your time. We'll immediately send you this free video and brochure with all the details about this amazing bed, including complete descriptions of all our bed models, prices, and options. You'll have all the information you need to make a decision that can truly make a difference in your sleep.
It's been amazing, the difference that the Sleep Number bed has made with my sleep personally. I have not woken up with back pain at all, not once since we've gotten it.
I switched from an inner spring mattress to a Sleep Number bed, and now I sleep better than ever.
It's the only bed I know of that's clinically proven to improve your sleep quality and relieve back pain. And it also costs about the same as a traditional inner spring mattress, yet it lasts twice as long. Now, like most of us, before I got my Sleep Number bed, I used to toss and turn during the night. I'd wake up, roll over, find a comfortable position, and then go back to sleep. But on a Sleep Number bed, I actually sleep all the way through the night. And I didn't realize I wasn't getting a good night's sleep until I experienced one on a Sleep Number bed. I also noticed that I have more stamina during the day, and I know it's because I'm getting a more recuperative sleep. So why don't you call us right now and see if it isn't true for you as well.
Call for your free information kit. Sleep Number beds are easy to own, coming in all standard sizes with queen-size mattresses starting as low as $20 a month. Learn about our 20-year limited warranty and risk-free 30-night in-home trial. Call 1-800-289-6100. On a Sleep Number bed by Select Comfort, you can fall asleep faster, sleep more soundly, and wake up more refreshed. Call 1-800-289-6100. We'll rush you this free video, brochure, and price list. That's 1-800-289-6100. The Sleep Number bed is the key to a perfect night's sleep. Call now.
Hey, it's Sleeping Beauty.
Didn't sleep a wink.
I know, we've been waiting for you. Have the chess set already?
He cheats.
Hello, Honest Abe.
Whatever.
We just haven't played for so long.
I know, I just got all this stress at work.
It's cool, it happens to a lot of people.
Really?
Absolutely. More than half of adults report experiencing some kind of insomnia at least a few nights a week.
We just want you back.
Thanks, guys.
When you can't sleep, you can't dream. That's why there's Roserum, the first and only prescription sleep aid that in clinical studies shows no potential for abuse or dependence. Take it when you need it, stop when you don't. Your doctor can explain why Roserum is so different. Don't take Roserum if you're taking Luvox, fluvoxamine, or have severe liver problems. Avoid taking it with alcohol. Don't drive or operate machinery until you know how you'll react to Roserum. Roserum may affect some hormones. Consult your doctor about how this may affect you, or if your insomnia doesn't improve. Take Roserum right before bed. Side effects may include drowsiness, fatigue, and dizziness.
Just talk to your doctor.
Today.
Tonight on Anderson Cooper 360, Lance Armstrong's War, the 360 interview. Why isn't there more money for cancer research? Plus, Oprah Winfrey and her crusade to save Africa. CNN Tonight, 10 Eastern.
In Los Angeles, two young men, suspected members of a Latino gang, are due back in court next month to face murder and hate crime charges. They are accused of killing a 14-year-old black girl last month. We're bringing this story out in the open because it looks like a sign of the growing tension between Latinos and blacks, which may only become even more intense over the next 50 years as the number of Latinos in the U.S. passes the number of blacks. Ted Rollins has the very latest now from Los Angeles.
The only reason 14-year-old Cheryl Green was shot and killed last month, police believe, was because she was black. These two suspects in custody are Latino and are facing hate crime charges. Cheryl Green is just the latest victim in an ongoing racial battle between some African Americans and Hispanics in Southern California.
We need to do something about this.
The tension between races isn't new. Over the past several years, it's shown up in gang violence, prison brawls, and high school fights. The root of the problem is much deeper, though, and involves a change in historically black neighborhoods. Areas like South Central, Watts, and Compton, where Hispanics are now the majority.
Are they talking about this on Latino radio?
On KJLH, a Los Angeles African-American radio station, the tension between Latinos and blacks is a regular topic.
I don't think it's about some kind of endemic hatred of one another. I think it's about who happens to be at the bottom right now and who is competing for those very increasingly scarce resources.
The African community is angry because what we have has been taken and the job opportunities are no longer there.
Cedric Blackman owns a property management company. He says he spent his entire life in Watts.
It used to be like, oh, the Greens used to own that house, or the Walkers used to own that house, and now the Martinezes own that house.
Blackman says the change happened so fast, many African Americans didn't see it coming.
Some of the Mexican people here, we've grown up together and we've got along fine, but they never said, hey, they're coming in big numbers and this thing's going to be all Hispanic in a minute. No one ever said anything. Before you know it, there was the Martinez brothers, the Ramirez shop, the tire. I mean, all this used to be all black. Now it's all Hispanic. There's anger in the black community.
Anger because some African Americans believe they've been steamrolled by an exploding population of Hispanics that works for low wages and helps each other find jobs. And there's a feeling among some in the black community that as Hispanics have gained economic and political power, African Americans have been pushed to the side.
I do okay with the black guys.
Tino Bocanegra says he's lived in Watts for more than 20 years. He owns an auto repair shop. He says it's true that some Hispanics try to avoid doing business with African Americans.
I talked to another guys who having a business like this. They're kind of scared dealing with black guys because they think they're bad.
Nicholas Vaca is the author of The Presumed Alliance, which documents the tension between blacks and Hispanics. He says as the Hispanic population continues to grow, this battle is going to play out in other cities around the country.
Latinos are going to exert their power. They're doing it in California in a significant way.
Ted Rollins, CNN, Los Angeles.
So we're going to get straight back to tonight's Out in the Open panel. Michael Gross, Joe Madison, Miguel Perez. Welcome back. Help us understand why so many Latinos feel threatened by blacks in changing neighborhoods.
I think it's the other way around. I think it's blacks that feel threatened by Latinos because it's Latinos that are coming into... It's American history, first of all.
But the Latinos clearly don't feel a degree of acceptance by the black neighbors.
Well, but blacks didn't feel a degree of acceptance from their white neighbors, too. It's very unfortunate nowadays to hear African Americans talking the way whites used to talk about them when they moved into their neighborhood. So it's the history repeating itself. It's not about Latinos, it's not about blacks, it's not about Hispanics. It's the newest group of immigrants always moves into the poorest neighborhoods. And that's what's happening. It's not about race, it's about economics.
It's about a fight over the crumbs,
well, there's no ifs, ands, buts about it. Look, we saw it when, I'll give you a perfect example, the River Rouge plant incident. Here were Eastern Europeans that worked for Ford Motor Company that wanted to form a union, the UAW. What did Henry Ford do? He sent boxcars down to Alabama. He put the poorest black people on those boxcars and drove them past the picketers into the factories. The blacks had to sleep and live in those factories to try to break the union. Now, what happened? The UAW decided, here's what we have to do. Let's get all of those who are on the bottom rung together because both sides are being economically exploited.
Sure.
This shouldn't be about black versus brown. This really should be about those people who want to economically exploit Hispanics, Latinos, and blacks for that bottom crumb.
But as we've seen these divisions, what could you conceive of that will possibly bring these two groups together and
we got to go to
heal
war.
them?
We went to war on drugs and we went to war on terror. This is underlying all of that. Racism and intolerance. The work that you're doing in exposing this is critically important to all of our lives. This is worldwide. We're all xenophobic. We're frightened of differences in other people, and we got to really get affirmative about that. We haven't done nearly enough to make hate crimes punishable, not nearly enough to help out in labor problems. Sure, when we have North American Treaty, Free Trade Act, we got to take care of those people who are getting put out of work. We got to stop blaming people who come to our country. We're all immigrants.
See, the people who should have been arrested in that Swift incident should not have been, it should have been the owners.
Well, yeah, there was a lot of debate. For people don't remember what happened, there was a major operation by ICE.
You should show them doing the frog walk, handcuffed and going into cars.
All of our immigration policy is a reflection of our ignorant racism and bigotry. There is no such thing biologically as race. We learned with DNA in the genome. The differences between us is immeasurable.
So
Shades
does that mean
of
we're
skin.
Cousins?
Better than that. You were brothers. I'm your sister.
But
let's get together.
But in your judgment, how big of a challenge is it today? If you're talking about the economic deprivation of two very specific minority groups,
it's a huge challenge.
Can we beat this?
It's about educating both African Americans and Latinos about how not to fight for the crumbs. You know, there's huge pieces of this pie that we're not taking advantage of. Some of the people,
what, for example?
Well, you know, you see people fighting about benefits. You know, when in fact we're all entitled to the benefits.
We're putting up fences.
It's like, oh, they're going to get my benefits. I'm going to lose my benefits because it's going to be given to a Latino. No, you're both entitled to the same benefits.
We now need Cesar Chavez and Martin Luther King mentalities. The two of them understood each other. Cesar Chavez understood, I'm not going to sit up here and allow illegal immigrants, whatever you want to call them, to break the back of trying to make a level playing field. Look, we've known each other for years. I've worked with Latinos from all countries. When that playing field is level, you don't have any problems.
Take down the fence. No more borders. Those are myths. Take down the fence. We're not protecting ourselves by building fences across our borders. This is a melting pot. Give me your poor, your tired, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. That was America.
And I will give you all the emails that are going to come in support of that fence, and then we'll debate you one-on-one. Gentlemen, thank you. Michael Gross.
Let's talk.
Joe Madison, Miguel Perez. Appreciate your time. Still ahead tonight, pulling the trigger. Allegations that police are all too eager to use stun guns and too often use them against minorities. We'll bring that story out in the open when we come back.